Okay, so let's get into the watch list. Go to ZTRADEZ.net. Check out the terms and conditions page. If you don't agree to it, do not watch this video. If you do agree to it, continue to watch. And if you do agree to it, feel free to join the community in the description below. SPY. Let's go ahead and move my mug down. Let's bring this over here. With these vertical movements, it's making the chart, it's making it a little bit tougher to chart here. Let me go ahead and bring it over just like that. Yeah. So 590, we may open there. We have this gap here to 567. We have a support in this zone, 560s. Anywhere in the 560s is a bound zone. Do I think we're going to go there now? No, because now it looks like there's a whole bunch of diplomatic stuff happening, and there's going to be negotiations with what happened in Iran yesterday. But you can see if we crack this range right here of 587 that we go into a low volume area. So keep your eyes peeled on that as well as this gap over here. Let's keep moving. We'll make this brief for you guys. Oxy, I'm going to be watching /CL. I may take a position on that right out the gates at open, but futures open coming up here in just on 2 hours. Gap, 48, another gap. I mean, there's gaps everywhere on this. Gap up to 55 is the highest. Do I think that we're going to head there? I don't think so. This could easily happen. So could this. If they block the canal and there's no more exports, 45% of China's exports, they get 45% of their oil as of now from Iran. So even if we take China out of the picture, if that oil stops saturating the market, then the price per barrel is going to go up through the roof, which means that Oxy, CVX, XOM, USO, right, CVX, all that has the potential of going higher, which means CPI goes higher, which means the market can go lower, which means there won't be rate cuts when there should have already been some based on the data, since Powell said he was going to cut based on data, and we got the data. Then now it's forward looking, so he just doesn't want to cut. It's ridiculous. So let's take a look at CVX. I like to set up a little bit more on here. We could see that area easily, in my opinion. This whole area up in here, up to 154, we have a gap there, 155. If we can clear this area where this volume bar is sticking out here, volume gets lower up into here, really low volume area, 165 would be the top here. That's if energy sites start getting hit and exports stop. Price per barrel is going to shoot up, and I expect Oxy, CVX, XOM to follow suit. Gap up here to 117 on XOM, which could happen. Let's take a look at the weekly. It doesn't look like anything special. Let's take this chart off. Doesn't look like anything special to me. Yeah, anyways, moving on. USO has already kind of done its thing here. Let's take a look at TTD. Let's pull up TTD. I had caught this in the chat. Look, that's almost a piercing candle formation with the earnings down here to support it. Let's take a look at the daily and what I'm looking at with the gap as well. Take a look at this low volume area right here. Gap all the way to 61 as well. Yeah, 60, 86. Doesn't matter the exact cent. But this is a low volume area. We're kind of starting to dive into it. It's looking like it wants to go back up here, but I'd like to see this gap be filled first. I was in covered calls. I'd bought it 45 to 49, somewhere in that range, and sold 52 and a half, rolled it to the 55. So I wish I would have waited. I could have sold the 90s and then covered that and sold some more, but that's not what happened. I did very well on that position, even though the shares have now been assigned to someone else, and they've been taken from me at a higher price than I obtained them for, plus the premium of the cover call. Fantastic trade there. But I'd like to see this range. I'd like to see us go into this low, especially into there down to 62, where this volume just dips way back. Let's take a look at NVIDIA, and I got one more. NVIDIA. In fact, I may freehand it. There's some stuff that I haven't looked at or pulled up. We got a huge volume gap down here to 122, but we've got a shelf right here at 135. Do I think we're going to go there immediately? No, but there's one 2, 3, 4 gaps on this thing. 4 gaps. So we'll see. 135 could happen easily, in my opinion. But again, you know, we can do the technical analysis. It really comes down to, you know, Orange Man's Twitter at this point, his X account, and what these countries are going to do, which it's not looking good. It's looking horrible right now, like really bad. This could really kick off. Trend line right here. I'm up a lot on this. I was buying this at 151 over in here. I was buying it in this whole range, but I got it at 151. We were just at 230, right around 230. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Where I obtained those was just fantastic. We have a volume shelf sticking out here at 220. You know, it's not far off from where we are, but you can see the volume tears off, sucks back. So we also have a gap here around 195, and this is what? Anchored VWAP. That's a possibility here. This would be the range I'd be looking at. We've got another gap over in here too at 167. I want to pull up some of the defense stuff. Palantir's just running and running and running. This thing is just ridiculous. RSI is running flat. There's some bearish divergence with this going higher. Let's take a look at the weekly. Almost a shooting star there, with RSI going lower as this is going higher. At some point, when this is all said and done and over, this thing could really, really take a beating. Really take a beating. What do we have? 137. Let's go ahead and take a look at LMT, which hasn't ran yet, which will probably be up then peel back at tomorrow. This looks good. This is all pushing against the 50 EMA. I'd love to see it suck up pad. Look how low the volume is up in here because of this gigantic push. When the Iran stuff kicked off under Biden, under the Biden admin, and then Orange Man won, which meant no conflicts, right? And then it peeled off, but then here we are again. So let's keep moving. What's General Dynamics ticker? I can't even think of their ticker now. Boeing, I don't think it's going to affect it too much. It's a little volume gap. I could easily see that. What was I going to pull up here? There was another name. Regardless, let's take a look at gold. It's just still going. Gold is just a freight train smoking the S&P. This really makes financial advisors mad. Especially when you pull up gold over the last 20 years, it's smoked the S&P. Smoked it. Right, we're at 40 and we're at 310 now. Let's go back to 2004 on SPY. We were at 107 and we're at... So we've went up about... Looks like a good 5x. Let's go back over to gold. I'm just kind of doing this for fun here. 40. That's a lot. I don't know what percentage that is. Around 6. Around 6x, I'm thinking here. That's a lot. I mean, this has just been fantastic. But if we start to take rates up higher again here, I mean, this, which could happen if CPI comes in roaring hot, that could easily happen. One thing to let me go ahead and pull something up here, guys. Give me a second. Let's take a look at this. I talked about this in the previous video. This is when Saddam Hussein set fire to the energy fields in Iraq to disable the U.S. military during Desert Storm. Right? So now this is an extreme scenario. That shocks the global supply of oil, driving the price up. So when a diesel truck tries to ship me something, I'm going to keep repeating this like a parrot so you guys can connect oil to the economy. You cannot have a good economy with expensive oil. Right? So CPI ended up coming in hot. So whenever you get something shipped to you through a truck, because that's how things work, is diesel trucks, your shirt, your food, fertilizer, that affects energy, affects fertilizer, not just from the shipping it, everything, every single thing that you buy on a daily basis comes from a diesel truck. And if the cost of shipping goes up 2 to 3x, there goes inflation, right? Let's take a look at CPI Report 1990 USA. Let's see what happened. This happened in July and ran all the way till September, and oil was still high. Let's take a look at this. With an annual percent change of 5.4%. That is wild. Why don't we take a look at it here? Let's take a look at this. Okay. Let's take a look at this. All right. So before I scroll down, right, average, percent change, annual average, okay? We're going to go all the way down, 1913. Let's go all the way down to 1990, July of 1990. Here we are, right here. So you can see, comparing it to the previous, what was going on? Oh, there's 81. Well, that's a different story. The CPI we had insane inflation then. It was after Vietnam and all the after effects of the depegging from the gold. Anyways, 4.8, 4.1, we're at 1.9 and 86. 4.23, 2.6, 2.8, 1.6. Right? It's generally low. Look at that negative. There was the financial crisis. Right? But we're way above normal right here. Way above the average CPI. And this was it. Literally an event like that setting the oil fields ablaze in Iraq to disable. So there was a cloud of black smoke to disable the U.S. Air Force. But they didn't realize that we had GPS. And CPI came in roaring hot. So now following that, it peeled off. But you're talking about July all the way to February. That's a while. That's a long while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically 7 to 8 months, because it's going to be delayed, right? So about 7 months before we're at a normal range again. So if in the Middle East, if something really kicks off, I'm not talking about just like blocking, the canal and exports and all that. I'm talking about them retaliating and hitting each other's energy fields to disable each other's economies. I mean, you're going to see this go absolutely Looney Tunes. Absolutely Looney Tunes, right? So we'll see. Excuse me. We'll see what happens and how this pans out. I wish I could give you guys a clear direction. I can tell you that the TA on the S&P looks atrocious. Energy looks fantastic for the bulls, but I don't necessarily where we're gonna go, because it comes down to how the negotiations go with Israel, U.S., and Iran. Right? I can do as much technical analysis as I want on that and stock their X page constantly, but as of now, it looks like everything's is gonna take a dive, but I could be wrong. And then good news comes, which it wouldn't shock me if it did, and we end up going up. So if you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more, and keep your eyes on that area if things get dicey and continue to escalate. I'm looking for this area and this area right here.